And as you might have noticed, my world is fire and blood.
But before it was fire and blood, it was all about my two loves, movies and science. And I wanted to find out if what you see in movies could be real. So for my first experiment, I decided to put myself in one of my favorite films, Mad Max: Fury Road, to see if scientifically you could survive it. Could you survive being strapped to the front of a car, a lack of water, war boys, an increase in global temperatures, a massive explosion blowing you into the air? Could you survive Fury Road?
First things first, how did we get here? How did we get to the end of the world? I mean, not actually the end of the world, because physically as a celestial body, it still exists.
But how did we end up in a Mad Max apocalyptic wasteland? There are a few scenarios they mention in the movie, and we'll get to those later, but one of the ones they do mention in Fury Road, the quickest and most likely in our lifetime, is due to the aftermath of nuclear war.
It happened so fast. The fear, the panic, the anger, it all led to...
And cue flashback.
Well, we should be out of the blast radius.
How do you know? I can't get anything on my phone.
Yeah, well, before the radio cut out, they talked about it. When it comes to nuclear war, the point of a nuclear bomb is to not only take life, but to make life unlivable for those that remain. You don't even need a full-scale global nuclear war for it to be devastating.
A 2007 study showed that even a small nuclear war between two countries using 50 nukes the same size as the one used in Hiroshima would put 5 million tons of dust and soot into the atmosphere, and it would stay there for more than 6 years. Something of that scale would kill an estimated 2 billion people. Chemical reactions in the atmosphere would eat away the ozone layer, increasing UV exposure, skin cancer, reduced plant growth, and damaged plant DNA. And then there are those affected by radiation and fallout, which it looks like the war boys in particular are. To combat radiation poisoning, they use human beings as blood bags.
Get you! Isn't that right, blood bag?
That doesn't make sense!
What doesn't make sense?
The whole blood bag thing just doesn't make sense. Hold on! I can't even hear myself talk. Oh, sorry for hitting your car.
In Fury Road, the human blood bags are used for blood transfusions.
Blood transfusions are usually given for two reasons. One, you've lost a lot of blood and you need more, or two, because you have anemia, a low red blood cell count. In the case of the war boys, they most likely have leukemia, which blood transfusions can help with. And leukemia can be caused by radiation exposure or just general radiation poisoning.
A blood transfusion would help alleviate some of those symptoms, but not totally cure you. You'd have to do it constantly, which is why war boys have such a need for blood bags. The issue is that even if blood types match, plasma, which makes up 55% of blood, might not. In general, when you get a blood transfusion, and especially for treating leukemia, you are just getting red blood cells. The plasma and white blood cells have been separated from it. Here in this world, not so much. The incompatibility would lead to side effects like jaundice, sepsis, muscle aches, difficulty breathing, circulatory overload, and a fear of impending doom. Using blood bags could work, but it wouldn't cure you.
But why are we here, you and I? Well, good question. We are after what is now the most precious resource, and it's not gasoline. It's something that used to cover 71% of all of Earth's surface. Water. Something I promised that I'd get a long time ago. no, they're coming.
Faster! We need to go faster! Yes! Yes! Yes!
That looks awesome.
And you see the war boys spitting gasoline into the engine throughout Fury Road.
But does it really do anything? Does spitting gasoline directly into an engine make it go faster?
The best overall engine performance is a balance of air and fuel. It's the stoichiometric fuel ratio, 14.7 parts air to 1 part fuel for gasoline. Spitting gas into the engine can, in theory, give you a slight performance boost, but it will also cool the engine, waste fuel because not all of it will be used, degrade engine parts, and clog the air intake.
It's not working! Stop wasting gasoline!
Oh, well, that sucked. But I'm alive, so I guess that's good. So in the movie Mad Max, there are a lot of people strapped to the front of cars, and while that would be uncomfortable, it wouldn't really do that much damage because the acceleration and G-force you'd be experiencing isn't different from what you'd be experiencing if you're actually in the car. But you do not have a windshield or a helmet on, so there is something dangerous that you would be experiencing. Debris.
If you're strapped to the front of a car traveling 96.5 kilometers an hour, and the car in front of you throwing back debris like rocks is traveling at the same speed, those rocks shot back would have a velocity of 193 kilometers an hour. The good news is, since they're thrown rather than propelled, that is, there's no thrust, the rocks would slow down after leaving the tire, traveling around 117.5 kilometers an hour, which includes a speed reduction due to clothing lessening the force of impact. Here we can see all of the kinetic energy from the rocks being absorbed by the ballistic dummy. And ballistic gel dummies are a great way to see the effects of projectiles on a human body. And using the average weight of those rocks, we can calculate that each one hitting you would essentially be the same as being hit by a 63 kilometer an hour baseball. And while that might not sound bad, that blunt trauma can cause damage to your hollow organs like the liver, spleen, stomach, and intestine. The force from the impact can deform them, increasing the internal pressure, which can lead to ruptured organs.
Pretty damaging, but luckily for us and for those in movies, scenes like this are generally filmed with the car not actually moving. Movie magic, my friend. It's a kind of world gestalt, where you infer the characteristics of the world not only from the information given, but from past experiences and knowledge. Okay, back to the action. Oh man. Oh, hey MKBHD.
Oh, hey, what is up, Jake? MKBHD here.
Yeah, I know you're here. I'm on the hood of your car.
Right, that makes sense.
What are you doing here? How'd you get caught up in this whole thing?
Man, it is a long story. It actually started a couple months ago. It was back when I was doing a review of...
No! You do not get a flashback. He does not get a flashback. We only have enough budget for you for one day, and that does not include character arc flashbacks. I'm sorry.
Hey, I see you're shooting in 8K. It's gonna be crispy.
Yes, I am very excited. We're shooting at 8K resolution, then we're going to be downscaling to 4K to get that extra crispiness. I should probably get inside the car. All right, take it steady, Marquez. Don't cry. Oh, why is this car so tall? Hey.
Hey. So you said you were shooting this in 8K, but then you're finishing and uploading in 4K, right?
Yes, so by downscaling the video, we are basically oversampling the image. Since 8K video has 4 times as many pixels as 4K.
Which means you get 4 times as much data per pixel, which means you might get, actually a little bit sharper video, a little more color depth, and possibly less noise.
Yes, and yes, by shooting at a higher resolution, we can also do cool things like a digital camera dolly.
Ooh, shiny and chrome. Dude, I am awaited in Valhalla. I should probably drop you off real quick.
I mean, can we just keep going a little bit, or do you really gotta do this?
I can let you out. You just get out, yeah.
Okay, well, thanks for the ride, I guess, for a bit.
Yeah, no problem.
See you, dude.
All right. Peace. Witness me!
Oh, okay. Wow. I'm gonna need to find another car. All right, let's go.
Let me ask you a question. Does YouTube really think that just by stacking a couple of top creators into one video, that an entirely new audience is going to come to that channel to see this new show just for those creators?
Hey, Casey, listen,
Here's the thing that YouTube
I'm sorry, I
doesn't
really gotta, okay.
When
yep.
you're going after this
Okay,
new market, it's
all right.
about the demographic.
Yep.
You got to get the kids. It's about getting the ones with the younger audience, the younger demographic.
Thanks, okay.
You sure?
See you later.
I'm going to pick up Jake and Logan.
Casey, look out! A fiery explosion blowing our protagonist into the air. In the world of Mad Max, in the world of movies, these kinds of explosions happen all the time. But in reality, this would do a lot more damage to the human body than what you see in films. How much more? Well, let's do an experiment to find out. I just have to get out of slow motion. Hey, editor, could you speed this up? Whoa, wow, okay. Wait, actually, hey, can we stop for a second? Just 1 second.
Did you just kill Casey Neistat?
Well, I mean, I don't know, really. Who knows? Hey, you know what? Let's do some explosions. Here we have almost 1.4 kilograms of high explosive. Moving a meter forward, we have an unused pig carcass from the butcher, so we can see what happens to skin when exposed to an incredibly high temperature. Now, 3 meters forward, we have the ballistics dummy, and this is to capture the shockwave that will travel through the body, and more importantly, through the organs, which can cause damage like ruptured lungs, and that is not good. Lastly, we have our shrapnel dummy, and this, as the name suggests, is to capture the shrapnel that will hit you from the explosion. The shrapnel can travel at speeds over the speed of sound. Now, it's very important to let you know to never, ever, ever do this at home. We have professionals here. This is a isolated and closed off set. So with that in mind, we are gonna go over here, over 122 meters away behind bullet-resistant glass. All right, let's blow some stuff up. Ready? Fire in the hole! Now here it is in slow motion. That looks incredible, but what is happening? Well, there are 3 main ways a movie explosion could kill you, depending on proximity. First, the fireball. Using thermal imaging, we can calculate that it reaches around 560 degrees Celsius at its hottest point. If you were in the same place as that pig, you would almost instantly receive second-degree burns on any part of your skin exposed to it. The skin would be destroyed, burning and blistering wherever it makes contact with the fireball. Even worse, that fire causes damage to the dermis, the tissue below the skin. Plus, your hair would ignite, as would the clothing you were wearing. Even if you didn't come in contact with the fireball, you'd feel the effects of the shockwave, which is traveling at an insane 1,270 kilometers an hour. That's 35 kilometers an hour faster than the speed of sound. In a close-up, we can not only see the shockwave, but also the overpressure from it, demonstrated by the pants being blown back. The pressure from the shockwave would be around 42,340 pascals, more than enough to completely destroy your eardrums. But something really interesting happens after the overpressure. Something you rarely see on film, the underpressure, which is when the shockwave collapses and the air rushes back towards the explosion. Again, look at the pant legs. Now they're pulled forward. Overpressure and underpressure can be equally deadly. They damage your internal organs through barotrauma, damage caused by changes in air pressure. And besides your eardrums, another organ affected by this is the lungs.
The lungs are made up of more than 500 million alveoli, tiny air sacs that are ruptured by the sudden change in pressure. And if your lungs survived the overpressure, you'd still have the underpressure. Besides that, the shockwave can also cause hemorrhaging in your other internal organs. Oh, and if the shockwave were big enough, it could also rupture your eyes. And lastly, we get to shrapnel. For safety's sake, we did this test isolated and controlled from the main explosion because we didn't want pieces of metal flying through the air in random directions. This 4-ounce ball bearing, nearly the weight of a D battery, is traveling at 1,094 kilometers an hour. 141 kilometers an hour less than the speed of sound, but with about 2.5 times the kinetic energy as a bullet fired from an AK-47. And the damage would be devastating. In this test, the ball bearing penetrated the skin, piercing the liver and traveling all the way through the rest of the body and going out the back. In another test, it went through the body but then got lodged in the spine, potentially paralyzing you. And here's the crazy thing. Our explosion wasn't even large enough to throw you back like you see in movies. So if you found yourself flying backwards from a real-life cinematic explosion, your chance of survival would be really low. And if you did survive, the likelihood of walking away without serious injury would be even lower.
So an explosion like you see in the movies is incredibly cool, but also incredibly deadly. Okay, let's get back to the story. I'm gonna need a car though, another one. Oh, perfect timing. Oh, thanks, production assistant, it looks good as new. Hey, thank you so much. We can go again? Yeah, let's go, on my action.
All right, everybody, back to work!
Let's go.
Let's go!
In the world of Mad Max, you not only have to worry about explosions, debris, war boys, and nuclear war, but also something else: extreme temperature. Heat can be deadly. In the European heat wave of 2003, high temperatures averaging 39.4 degrees Celsius killed around 2,000 people a day. In the world of Mad Max, we estimate that the temperatures would be around the same. If the world were to be 6.1 to 6.7 degrees hotter than it is today, an estimated half of the population would die from heat exhaustion.
And it's important to remember that it wouldn't just be a few hours or days that we would be experiencing these kinds of temperatures. It would be endless, which also affects a very necessary part of being alive: food.
For every degree the temperature increases, cereal crop production, things like wheat, barley, and corn, decrease by 10%, and that's per degree. This leads to deforestation, overgrazing, and poor irrigation in the pursuit of growing more food. That in turn creates desertification, when land becomes so dry it can no longer really grow anything. But that is happening regardless of agricultural influence. For example, the Sahara has gotten 10% larger since 1923. And according to a 1995 study, desertification has affected 42% of all of Australia.
And outside of food, there's another kind of resource depletion, one that is referenced in the Mad Max movies: the gasoline wars. And according to a study by BP, they state that if gasoline consumption and use rates continue as they have, we would run out of it by 2067. In this world, like it would be in real life, all of these factors happen, like dominoes. It all leads to disease, famine, fighting for what people, what countries want more than what their neighbors need. At least 40% of all civil wars were over resources. And so was this one. Now, a nuclear explosion wouldn't directly make fresh water radioactive. The two atoms that make up water, hydrogen and oxygen, can absorb an extra neutron, becoming deuterium and oxygen-17, both of which are stable isotopes, which means it's still safe to drink. The issue is fallout from those bombs. The radioactive dust and debris that's blown into the air and carried by the wind would land in those bodies of water, irradiating it and making it deadly to drink for hundreds or thousands of years. So groundwater won't be an option, but there is another one.
Because fallout makes the water radioactive, any water that is underground and completely covered, deep enough to avoid contamination, should be safe in the short term. And by short term, I mean an average of 1,400 years, because that's how long it generally takes for that water to be recharged from the surface.
Of course, it's going to take some serious effort to get it out of the ground, unless, of course, you can find a pump already set up. And there's a good chance that you die of dehydration before then, because the human body can typically go 4 days to a week without water in ideal conditions. But we are not in ideal conditions.
The hotter it is, the more water your body uses and the more water you need.
And you just don't lose water from sweating or relieving yourself. You also lose it by breathing. On average, about 28% of your water is lost through breathing and evaporation through your skin. In the conditions we are in, you would lose about a pound of water weight a day just by breathing. You would literally dry out. Feels like I've been out here forever, driving through this wasteland, looking for water, looking for anything. Must be getting dark soon. Well, look at that. Side note, day for night is a film technique used in countless movies like Mad Max. Instead of shooting at night, they will use certain techniques like color correcting the footage to make it look more blue and with darker shadows. So even though it is filmed like this, with the power of post-production, we can make it look like this. And there are many reasons to do this, not the least of which is that it gives the filmmakers latitude with their footage. You know, I kind of like it like this. Let's keep it night. Okay, if we want to get out of here alive, we need to focus on the road.
Don't go. I can't lose you, Jake, please.
Hey, it's okay, all right? We just gotta get supplies. I need to go get water. I'll be back.
Just stay.
I'll be right back, okay? It'll only just take a second. I promise you I'll be back. But hey, listen, when I do come back, I'll knock 3 times. Yeah?
No! No! Come on! Come on! No! Come on!
Well, this is the end of the road. Looks like we're gonna be walking. Surviving Fury Road would be hard, not just physically, but mentally. And how far are you willing to go to change yourself to fit this new world? And what are you changing for? I mean, what's the point of going on when you've lost everything? Lost the one thing that mattered to you most? Oh no! Another flashback! We're running low on water again. I'm gonna go get more,
I can do it.
but it's my turn.
You can't do everything for me. It'll be okay.
Are you sure? Come here. Okay. I love you.
I love you too. Don't forget to lock up.
Don't forget to knock. No! I should have been the one who died! Finally, I found water. Come on. Come on.
Come on!
Come on. Bro? But I saw...
I have been looking for you for so long, Jake. The cannibals that attacked me actually turned out to be pretty cool. I gave him some good tips how to cook human flesh, and we just, like, kind of meshed.
But you were trying to kill me.
Oh, no. Wait, no, we were trying to catch up with you. I have been trying to find you ever since that night. I see you found water. It was your turn after all. So do we just need to pull that lever to release it?
What? Oh, yeah, that. We just gotta pull the lever. No! Not all at once! The amount of water in there would crush us.
In Mad Max, they let out the water from pipes similar to this one, creating a giant waterfall.
Which would flow around 7,079 liters a second, which would weigh 8,435 kilograms and would hit with an estimated total force of 49,591,920 newtons. But good news, not all that water is falling directly on you. If we take the width of an average person, you'd only be getting around 991,838 newtons. So it'd be like 8 helicopters falling on you every second. So if you want to continue doing that whole living thing, probably not a great idea.
Oh, you still stare off into the distance and go on science tangents. I missed you.
I missed you.
I love happy endings.
As always, thanks for watching.
That wasn't too bad. Hello again. While the credits roll, I'm going to continue talking. In the film Fury Road, director George Miller demanded that the entire movie be shot with the main talent in the center of the frame. And what makes this interesting is that normally in movies and on TV, as well as in photographs, the subject of the frame is either on one side like this, or on the other. And this is because of the rule of thirds, where the focal point of the frame should be in 1/3 of the frame, usually on either the left or right side. And studies have shown that people rate the aesthetics of a painting higher if the rule of thirds is followed. Now, George Miller decided to keep the focal point in the center, or central framing for Fury Road, so the audience wouldn't waste time deciding where to look and could give their full attention to the action. And this was doubly important because the average shot length in Fury Road was 3.2 seconds, barely long enough for the human brain to process what was going on, let alone decide where to look. And studies have shown that the eye wants to focus on the center, so center framing saves the eye and the brain from trying to reacquire the focal point. And at the end of the day, it is an artistic decision. But with 2,700 edits in the film, it definitely was a benefit for keeping the viewer literally focused on the action. And as always, thanks for watching.